Meanwhile, British Palestinian families have urged the government to create a visa scheme for stranded relatives in Gaza. A letter sent to Foreign Secretary David Cameron on behalf of 80 families calls for a scheme similar to the Ukraine Family Scheme visa. A petition on Parliament's website calling for a new visa scheme also has more than 22,700 signatories. Earlier, I spoke to Youssef Al-Halu, who is a British Palestinian journalist and documentary filmmaker who lost his sister and 7 other members of his family.
An Israeli airstrike struck their home in the eastern part of Gaza City. My sister, Asma, in her mid-30s, was killed alongside 7 of her children, my nieces and nephews. The eldest, Majid, is 17. The youngest is only 1 month old. She was born during this war. They are still under the rubble. We are unable even to bury them. And I feel really heartbroken that civilians are being killed, including my family. And it's really sad that we are in this situation. I don't know the fate of my mother, father, 4 brothers, 2 other sisters. We live in the dark due to lack of communications and the disruption of the internet, and I'm worried about them all the time. We are concerned about their safety.
You said about the family members that you'd lost that they were in the east of Gaza City. What about your mother and father? Where are they? Because the fighting has been particularly intense, as we know, though.
Some of them, they managed to evacuate to the south in Khan Yunis and Rafah, but the majority, they are still in Gaza City because of the intensity of the bombardment. They couldn't make it. They are being starved now. Last time I spoke to them a week ago, they said they ran out of food. There is no medicine, there is no water, and it's very cold. There's no heating, and each time they survive, it's a miracle. I can't sleep with my family here in London. It's really, I was heartbroken. I was collapsed when I heard the news, and I'm worried about the rest of my family. I also lost scores of my relatives in Gaza, across the Gaza Strip. Gaza has been subjected to relentless airstrikes and bombardment and shelling. Civilians were caught up in these hostilities. It's the world's largest open-air prison, and the siege complicated their lives. So we are urging the British government, as a British citizen. So
yes, just to interrupt here for a moment, you are a British citizen, and you're urging the government to open a family scheme similar to what occurred at the time that Russia invaded Ukraine. And there were 2 parts to that scheme, but one is that relatives of British citizens were able to come.
Yes, a humanitarian family scheme, a humanitarian route, equivalent to the scheme that was designed for Ukrainians. I understand the complicities, but Gaza should be given this opportunity because, I need my family to be with me. Each time, each moment, I have to check my phone. I have to make some contact just to make sure they are safe. So I urge the British government, the Foreign Office, the Home Office, to help us bring them to safety, because Britain has to play a role in portraying itself as a place of sanctuary. Britain, the UK welcomes refugees from all over the world. And I've got a list here. There are some countries already, they evacuated the relatives of citizens of different countries, including Portugal, Australia, Canada. So Britain should play a role in this. And this letter, we haven't received a reply from David Cameron's office.
You have not yet received a reply. Would you accept that there are complexities associated with doing that, which perhaps were not there when Ukrainians came to the UK?
I understand the complexities, yes. But, Gaza has been under bombardment for the past 70 years. I understand, there is differences. Britain evacuated its citizens from Israel and Gaza. They were stuck in Gaza for many weeks. The delay is not in our favor. There has to be something. The death is ongoing around the clock. So please, the UK government, David Cameron, anybody who's able to help, please intervene. We are worried about the safety of our families.
This, of course, would not address the safety of others within the Gaza Strip, but you are seeing now perhaps a change of tone in terms of how the international community sees this conflict, and we've also heard today from relatives of the hostages. What do you think the preconditions now would be for this conflict to stop?
Well, Israel says its war against Gaza is to bring an end to Hamas rule and to get
and to
the
neutralise the threat
hostages.
from Gaza. Not from Gaza, from Hamas, sorry.
Yes, but we've seen for the past 70 days, it's all been civilians who are being killed. I think there must be a peaceful settlement to this, a negotiation, to sit on the table and to put the terms, because Israel has failed to achieve its goals, and we've seen, civilians are being killed day after day. I think the situation needs more intervening on part of the UK. It all started from this country. I'm British, yes, but this conflict started from Britain, 1917, Balfour Declaration.
Yeah, you're talking about the history 100 years ago. Understood. I understand that. You are a filmmaker and you have done significant amount of work in Gaza. How do you see now the future of Gaza, given the bombardment that we've seen over the last 70-odd days?
Well, the future is bleak. Israel has destroyed much of Gaza, and it will require maybe at least 5 to 10 years to rebuild Gaza, because Israel controls Gaza airspace, territorial crossings, and the coastal line. So anything has to be approved by the Israeli authorities. And going to Gaza is not easy mission, because we have to fly to Cairo, from Cairo to go to Rafah.
Yeah.
I was the last journalist to document the beauty, landmarks, historical sites of Gaza, and I'm working on this documentary film that will be screened worldwide. I would like to, generations to come to see that Gaza was flourishing, Gaza was destroyed, and what's happening in Gaza is a man-made disaster.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us, Youssef Al-Helou.